Tried things a little bit different today, ladies and gentlemen. I did 8 till 4:30, technically 8:15 till 5, because I was finishing something. It feels the day is so much more evenly balanced when it's like that compared to 9 till thingy. So I still went for my walk in the morning, which is why it was 1:15. By the time I'd like actually settled down and logged on. But I think I'm definitely going to do that. We talked about it the other day. And I think as a team we're going to try and focus on doing that where we can, unless meetings mean that we can't, basically. So I'm thankful for that. That sounds good to me. We had some good fun stuff over the weekend. Prod went fine. We had some issues with our test environment. So the thing that I pushed up to test worked, but the whole process failed. I was trying to figure out why that was. It looks like the VMs are running out of memory. That's what it looks like, but it's just silently, it's just happening silently. We're getting no alerts. And I'm assuming that's because it's a test environment, and like we're loading a 16 gigabyte XML file effectively into memory. So we may need to look at the way that that thing works. I don't know. We raise that with the domain guy or the tech guy and be like, I feel like we should carve out some time to potentially look at this, especially since this file is getting bigger and bigger over time. But and it'll fall under anyway. It's by the way. So yeah, that was good fun. Otherwise, today I've been spending doing a health check service for my for the new microservice that we're standing up. That was good fun, and then just helping people with general stuff. I seem to be the Service Fabric go-to guy, which I'm happy with. Just one person is not very good at saying thank you. You know? Whereas like the other guy, I'm like, you're an absolute diamond, mate. No matter how small the problem, you know? Otherwise, what is going on? We went shopping, standard shopping trip. There was something I wanted to show you. Laura ordered herself a massive 2 kilogram bag of pick and mix. And I, because I've been craving it for about 2 weeks, got myself a flake yogurt. Oh my god. Words cannot describe how excited I am about that. There was something else. I was like, I'll show them that, but I've forgotten what it was, so it couldn't be good. Otherwise, I've like, while I'm doing this new schedule to effectively get more time in there later in the afternoon, and not be quite so, like it's such a drag having like a top heavy day rather than a morning heavy day, I know. The day feels longer. Well, that's usually the case. Because it's shopping day, I've been helping Laura with her thing and then playing a game. But while I'm playing a game, I'm watching Shameless on Netflix, and I could have watched it on 4OD, but 4OD has ads and it's not very good, and I've never watched it all the way through. I kind of get like a couple of paid episodes through and then stop, but I am chewing through the episodes. It's great. It kind of goes to show that it is not just as simple as can you stream it and watch it somewhere. It's how good is the service that you're trying to watch and stream it from. And if you've got a bad service, even if you've got a good show people want to watch, they might not watch it. That's what happened to them. So that's what happened to Channel 4 and their shitty 4OD, which has a million ads. And then also, as it gets to the first ad break, there's like a 50% chance the whole program will start again, and then you've got to fast forward and then go through a second ad break again. God damn it, piss me off. Wow, that is a pathetic amount of flakes in there, boys. Also, I seem to remember this being more mousse-like when I don't think I've ever had one of these, to be honest. I don't know why I saw someone push one up in a roller, a crate of them. And I was like, God damn, I thought about that last week. And I still craved it this week. Not gonna lie, wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I should have just got, they're nearly £1 as well. That's a lot of fucking money. God damn. Should have got, but it was worth it for the nostalgia trip. Third walk of the day today. It's been raining recently, so I've missed out on my walks and I feel like I'm getting fat. So I need to go for lots of walks. But straight after work, I did a quick walk to do a shopping for the neighbour, for my next door neighbour, who can't go to the shops and whatnot. It's been too hot, so you got to kind of wait. You got to get out for a walk as soon as you possibly can, and then you got to go for a walk as late as you can in the evening. Today, otherwise, has been a pretty fun day. We had the morning doing refinement stuff, and like doing some mergers, but like nothing crazy exciting. But also, just like kind of letting a fucking shrapnel grenade go off. and like just seeing who gets hit by it, you know? Caused a bit of a ruckus, a bit of a shift in the team dynamic, you see. So like a little bit of context, we've started doing this piece of work which basically involves starting a new microservice. There's lots of like issues with that, like before we can get it properly deployed it needs to be able to do X, Y and Z so that we can deploy it to production and it act properly, but we're trying to get something out to production that does something, you know, like we don't want to put nothing out, but you want to keep it as small as possible. That's the context. Yeah, it's very windy, I apologise. I don't know where this fucking winds come from. There's also like a load of process stuff that we need to set up, you know, like well, like builds and shit. There's way more than that, but you know, I mean, like business process stuff. So yesterday I picked up, so the idea is, it's a big bit of work. We've never picked up and ran with a new microservice before. It's going to be big, we're going to swarm it. So, well, one of our teammates had created a branch and had started putting, like, stood up at literally the Service Fabric basic app. When you go create new, call it this, bang, and then left it. He did that. He then set up the build pipeline and the release pipeline. While he was doing that, I was helping him with that, by the way, as well. I did the next bit, which was like adding a health check service. And I added the basic configuration, the basic DI, and then the health check sidecar, and the health check API on the actual thing itself. Happy days. I literally got to the point where that was all running. And by all running, I mean like there's not a lot there. Got it all running, got it all green, checked it in. There was a merge conflict already existing on the branch, so I fixed that. And then like did a couple of the things that he'd not done yet, like set up the NuGet configuration pipeline because it was using the wrong NuGet packages, all that kind of shit. So I do that yesterday, thinking, hey, tomorrow I'll pick up the next task. Today I get a message being like, can you take all that off the branch? And I'm like, sorry, fucking what? You what, mate? And he's like, we want to take that off the branch so we can merge it as quickly as possible. I'm like, I don't think we can do that. Like, we can't merge this to master for the same reason we can't do a PBI that's really small. Because as soon as it gets to master, half of that other stuff we've configured means we start getting penalised, and then it'll slow the other things down. It's an interesting system. So like, we don't think we do that. Also, it's finished. It's on there now, you know? Too late. Yeah, so he's like, we want to merge this through to master as quickly as possible, and I'm like, yeah, I've just finished a task, and also we can't merge it as fast as possible, and also why? we can all do our respective swarming stuff on this one branch. Anyway, this was a bit of a shrapnel grenade, and I think he then went to the team lead, who then came to me and was like, overheard the thing in stand up, and also this guy obviously went crying to him, can you take all the stuff off the branch? And I'm like, right, so just to clarify, to go quicker, so in the interest of agility, which is what we're aiming for, to try and get this thing over the line, you want me to take all of the stuff, so create a branch off of this branch with all of my stuff on it, revert all my changes on this branch, wait for this branch to merge to master, rebase to master, regenerate a PR, and then do a new PR on its own. At which point, when can other people start doing work? Because I've got all the config stuff. You can't do anything without my config, or is someone else going to start making the config? I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This branching strategy makes no sense. And I didn't even think we're allowed to do it. And yeah, so I'm like, and then he just put like, and I'm like, well, I'll do it now. So I'm doing it, and I'm like, I don't see the value in putting this thing into master early. It's not like we're all going to create 3 separate branches and do 3 separate pieces of work on it, because we're not going to, because we can't do it. There's only 3 pieces of work. There's the infrastructure stuff, the build and release, which will be done, the service itself, and the configuration, and then the code. There's 5 things, of which you're only proposing to do 2 of them, and then you've got the Terraform, the code itself, and the config. The config and the code itself are the same, so you're going to do the Terraform on its own? No. That was a lot of fun, but like I say, I backed down, and I just created a new branch, and I'm like, this is slow and silly, because now what are we going to do? Are we going to do a branch per task? Is that the strategy now? Is that what we're going to do? Because that seems slow. Are we going to just all dogpile onto my branch? In which case, why have we just arbitrarily chosen this branch as the one to do it on? So like, why are we arbitrarily setting the goalposts to here and then not setting it for the next bit, when arguably, like, my bit is my bit should definitely be on this branch. And I'd already diffused this, by the way, as well, by going, well, I'm going to go do a spike task and just kind of wait for you to merge this instead of adding more code to your thing that you want to be really small for whatever reason. So yeah, it was a bit of a shrapnel. It's probably our first disagreement as a thing. But I've like decided that it's time now. I feel I've like I've observed the land, observed all the people within it, figured out like how they like to work and stuff. And I've realised that it's now time to start stretching my legs a little bit. So I've realised that it's now time to properly start running and being like, this is how good I am. And when you stretch your legs, you run the risk of stepping into other people's personal space. And that's what I'm doing. And we'll see. But I feel like I'm currently operating at about 10% of my actual potential. And I'm keeping pace with everyone, if not already doing more than them all. So I'm like, I feel like it's time for me to start making some suggestions, you know? And I didn't even think this was the suggestion that was... I thought this was the plan, to be honest with you. But now we're just like effectively artificially held the user story back by four days. I'm not even shitting you. It'll take us 4 days to get to the point where my thing is then merged and then other people can start again, which I think is dumb. Or, best case scenario, 2 days, at which point my branch becomes the branch everyone does all their work on. So, but yeah, so, like I say, stretching my legs a little bit, and I'm aiming to start lapping people. That's my strat. Start lapping people within a short period of time. It's really easy to excel when you're in an office and like make it obvious that you're excelling. I think it's quite difficult to do that when you're at home and no one can see the work you're doing as easily. So like all of the stuff you do to make everyone else go faster, like help them with problems and all that kind of stuff, it's effectively invisible. Apart from tickets you're closing. I'm closing the most amount of tickets. And the biggest pieces of work as well. So I feel like I'm winning in that respect, but I'm also doing the other stuff. I feel like that's invisible. And like I say, I'm just trying to, like I say, I'm going to start stretching. I'm going to start flexing my muscles a little bit, start lapping the competition. It's not good to think of your team as a competition, but you know, I'm bringing them along with me. Don't fight me. Don't fight the stream. I'm an exceptionally arrogant little shit, and I know that. So I enjoy it as well. And I don't pick fights. I don't pick things that I don't think I'll win. I've seen the lay of the land, and I know what the correct thing to do is, and I pick my course and I'm going for it. And like I say, it's either continue to coast at 10% of my capability and probably get bored, or start breaking some eggs, making some omelettes, you know, boys. We've got our third and final batch of this ginger beer pack currently brewing. I imagine it's gonna ferment in no time because it is filthy hot. It's way too hot right now. Legitimately, it feels like, you know, when you step off a plane, that's what it feels like. Otherwise, Laura's just gone to the doctor's and I am doing dinner. Although, to be honest with you, you could probably just leave it out on the side and it'll cook itself ever so slowly. Today has been a hoot of a day. I've been exploring spike tasks. We're trying to figure out where we can get access to a load of information that we've got. Meanwhile, that thing I was talking about yesterday merged, so then I was merging in the health check stuff, and then that opened a can of worms because the person that I I didn't pick a fight with, but had a disagreement with yesterday, which effectively picked a fight. Picked a fight with the way the health check works. Now, I copied the health check configuration effectively from the other apps that our team does, but it turns out that the rest of the company doesn't do that. It does it a different way, and it seems to be relatively split down the middle, which inevitably opened a can of worms. And compounded by the fact that our interest in branching strategy effectively means that we need this thing merged as quickly as we can possibly do it, because it's blocking other stuff. Whereas if we were all working on one branch, it wouldn't actually be blocking anything. But that's by the by. That's just little old me. So yeah, so there's a big old like discussion rolling around, and Yeah, like literally, like the alerting and monitoring chapter was like basically split down the middle. It was a fucking can of worms. Ironically, the only logs to like wikis of like suggested way of doing it, it's just a health check, man. Who would have thought it'd be controversial? But like I say, the guy I picked a fight with decided to pick a fight with it for some reason. And yeah, so fun times. Fun fucking times. But yeah, so I feel like we've agreed to go the way that I did it, i.e. the way that the other apps within our team do it. And by the looks of it, they were being used to kind of put forward this way of doing it to the company. There's like a wiki thing that only links to samples are our apps, which doesn't help us, obviously. But yeah, so who bloody well knows, man? Who bloody well knows? I said I'd sleep on it and just figure out what we're going to do. But it's delaying the story is on one hand, and then I always kind of had reservations for the way that this thing works, and then all of a sudden I became the champion of it, you know? And I'm like, all I'm doing is copying the existing thing, and logically, based on what the existing thing's doing, it's doing this sidecar thing, watchdog service thing, it's following that kind of pattern. I assumed that was company-wide, you know? And it wasn't, but then all of a sudden I became like the champion for it. And to be honest with you, I had my doubts about it anyway, because of the way that like Service Fabric manages all the nodes and services and stuff. So yeah, it was a fucking hoot of a day, to be honest with you. But yeah. Also, the annoying thing is, like, I know Service Bus, and I know Service Bus, Health Checks, and Service Fabric, except I've always kind of gone a different way, and the way that we've all gone isn't ideal anyway, so I'm already kind of like fitting in with what we've got rather than what I'd have. So like it looks completely different to my clusters, my applications in my own world. I mean, half of the problem is the way that we wrap around the service bus. It just gives you so little flexibility because we're just like hooked straight into it rather than going via something else that manages it for us. And I generally think if it wasn't that, the other ways would be so much more easy. But it's really complicated switching back to the other way. That's like the pain point. But yeah, so it was fun. It was a bloody fun day. I feel like I'm trying to square the difference between what I did yesterday and today. Whereas the difference was yesterday was I made it clear what my opinion was about something. Was like, I don't see why we're doing it like that. I feel like that's slower. And then not undoing what I'd done, because the act of undoing it expressly takes significantly longer than redoing it. Seems stupid. But moving out the way so everyone else could carry on their way they wanted to do it, and I would just do something else for a bit. By everyone else, I mean one other person. Whereas today it's like just combatively blocking rather than like, you know, moving out of the way. Really, yeah. I feel like I need to continue that. And what I was talking about yesterday about like running laps around people, I mean like I'm doing the vast majority of the work, you know? That's what I mean, it's like speed wise. And I feel like, yeah, the decision they did to like modify the branching and then like slow this PR down is effectively just an attempt to slow me down over anything else. That's what it feels like. It feels like effectively like, yeah. Just trying to figure out what I want with my life, you know. Hot weather makes me irritable as well, and it's been like 30 plus degrees today. I feel like the dream of keeping all the windows closed and using the fan isn't achievable. Gonna have to have the windows open and just risk hay fever a little bit. It's kind of disappointing for how expensive the fan was, but you know. Someone just asked me where Sainsbury's was and I'm like, pointed him to a direction. I was like, is it down there or down there? I'm like, there's kind of. So I was like, oh, it's that way. Join the main road, turn left and then keep going and you'll find it. It's a really long way away though, mate. He goes, yeah, I know. And then as he walked off, I was like, oh fuck, actually it'd be much quicker to go to the other Sainsbury's, which is probably bigger and probably closer. Awkward. So, too late now, it's gone. My God, has it been hot today? It peaked, I think it was like 30 degrees outside, 31 degrees outside. And according to my Dyson fan, it's designed to keep the house cool. It thinks it was 40 degrees inside. Probably said, for those people who review these fans and say it keeps the whole house cool, no it doesn't. It's not magic, but oh god damn, it's been so bad today. In a meeting this afternoon, I don't know whose idea it is to have a meeting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, peak heat temperature, my computer is literally having a meltdown. I had to come downstairs and I was just like lying on the stone floor, like propping the laptop up, trying to get it cool. God damn. My ginger beer is thoroughly enjoying it though. And otherwise, we had a fun day today because we cracked open Laura's Pick a Mix and a cheeky bottle of champers because Laura's finished her training course thing, her university course. She handed in a final essay today. Living the dream, boys. So we had a bit of a celebration. We went for a nice long walk and sat on the field. She hasn't been out of the house in like weeks. So it's been great. I've had a great day. God damn it. I had one of those days work-wise where I was just kind of trying to get this PR over the line. It's doing my nutting a little bit, but then otherwise researching how we're going to do this next little bit of work. And then putting it forward in refinement to be like, so here's how I think we should split it. So it's been one of them days of being like, right, I need to know absolutely fucking everything about this before we can, before I go into this meeting. So, but I think they want a technical discussion before we do tickets. So, fair play. I feel like we're definitely butting up against a thing where what is a ticket? Define a ticket, because like what they were expecting was like a user story, and I'm like, hey, we can split this ticket into 3 small things. My hair is so cool. 3 small things, and then those small things we can do one of them next week to get ready, and then we can do the 2 bigger things the week after, and that'll be great. Or sprint after, but we'll see. I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying. Generally getting the impression at the moment that I'm the only person that speaks up in meetings. Like, there'll be a meeting, everyone will stay quiet, a question's asked to the group, everyone will stay quiet, I'll answer it, and then just get shot down. Fucking answer yourself then. You know what I mean? Oh. And then even more fun is I raise a concern, get shot down, and then 10 minutes later, the person that shot me down raises the same concern as me. That's fun. I'm not having a great week. Pretty boring day today, ladies and gentlemen, apart from fish and chips for evening. That was lovely. We went to a fish and chip shop, got some. It was nice. But otherwise, today was a day of trying to fact finding and talking to people, trying to figure out how or if we can do some. Basically, we're trying to do some investigation to see if we can run different load tests and figure out kind of where the breaking point is. It looks like it's not going to be as trivial as we thought, but it's slightly possible. It's just not really going to give us a realistic, like, we're trying to figure out how much headroom we've got. We know we've got a problem with the current load test. It's a project we've like inherited a couple of weeks ago, because that other team, its previous owners didn't have capacity because there were only like 2 people in that team. And we're a full-size team, so we've taken it. But we've got actual serious like legal requirements, and this thing's like super low priority, but it like causes so many issues in load tests, so it's like we're trying to argue to get it prioritized to get some work done on it, but we need to figure out how much headroom we've got. That's what my day was basically. It was great fun. It's cooled down so much I'm actually wearing full-length trousers, albeit pyjamas. All morning was basically spent doing my hair today. Laura's done a brilliant job. It's a lot shorter than it's previously been. It looks great. I haven't gelled it yet, so I don't know how it looks gelled. but pretty sick with that, boys. And then in the morning, went shopping, got some bread. Living the dreams. And then afternoon was spent playing games, watched Formula One, watched some TV, an old race of Formula One. Being bored, really. It's been great because Laura could be bored as well, so we're both bored together instead of just me being bored, which is good fun. Right then, crew, let's end this video here. Today has been a day of pottering. It's been a quite wet weekend in general, actually, but it's been quite wet today. So didn't go out anywhere, and still wearing long length. That's a lie. We did go for like a half-hour walk in the afternoon, but like otherwise today's been pottering, playing games, watching TV. So it's great. It's going to be interesting now because obviously both of us don't have things to do. And previously, when Laura was doing stuff, I was like playing games and like beating myself up for not working. And it's going to be interesting to see how that changes. Oh dear, but that's the end of this video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to book some time off work over the next, well, not over the next thingy, but sometime soon. I'm just going to book a day off. Because I feel like I need it. But back to work tomorrow, so look forward to that. On the tail end of the sprint now, so I don't know what else there is to do particularly. We'll find out. Yeah, 3 days left in the sprint, 2.5 technically. And if we haven't finished by tomorrow, then we haven't finished because it takes that long to get things out of the pipeline. But there is like some, basically I want to schedule different load tests. That's what I want to do, but I don't think I'm going to be allowed to do it because everyone's dodging my questions when I ask them about it. So they kind of like, it's difficult because I feel like they know what we need to do. We're trying to figure out when we need to do it, you know? We want to know, like, we know the load tests are shit. We want to run different load tests to find out how much headroom we have. Like, if they fail on the worst possible, on like the lowest possible load test, then it's an urgent issue, you know? But anyway, cool beans. But it's not, yeah, it's not oranges to oranges anyway. It's not great, essentially. So, cool. Right, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a tough week. It's been a very tough week. Highs and lows, boys. Highs and lows. I'll catch you later.